Every time I hear some boomer whining about how Gen Z is lazy, I want to throw my phone out the window. You know what's actually lazy? This broken ass system that expects young people to bust their asses for crumbs. Let's break this down real simple. If Hollywood puts out a shitty movie and nobody watches it, do we blame the audience? No, we say, yeah, that movie sucked. The studio was too lazy to make something worth watching. But when it comes to work, suddenly it's our fault that we don't want to waste our lives on jobs that don't pay enough to survive? Hell no. Corporations today are useless as Hollywood. The wages, the benefits, the so-called opportunities they offer, it's all garbage. And yet when we don't want to work for peanuts, suddenly we're the problem. Nah, the problem is these lazy ass corporations that refuse to make work worth doing. I actually sat down with my boomer dad the other day, and to his credit, he admitted things have gotten worse. I asked him what minimum wage was when he was in his 20s. He said about $2 an hour. His rent, $50 a month. I double checked the numbers, and yeah, rent was cheap as hell back then. Minimum wage was around $1.60 in the 60s, and average rent was 71 bucks. This means that boomers had to work only 44 hours a month to cover rent. My dad just got a good deal. But even if you take the average, it's still insanely cheap compared to today. Let's do some basic ass math. Back then, a full-time minimum wage worker could pay an entire month's rent in just 1 week of work. That meant after covering rent, they had 3 whole weeks worth of pay left for food, fun, dates, whatever. And that was the minimum wage. And how did these people get these jobs? They just walked in a place and asked. No endless online applications, no stupid 3 years experience for an entry job bullshit, no drowning in student debt. Just walked in and asked. Boom, you got work. Fast forward to today. Average rent in America, 1,600 bucks. Minimum wage, still the same dog shit, $7.25 it's been since 2009. Now, remember how boomers could cover rent with just 44 hours of work? Well, let's do the same math today. 1,605 divided by 725 equals to 221 hours. That's 5 times more work than what boomers had to do. That's 55 hours a week just to barely afford rent. Forget food, forget fun, forget actual living. And don't give me that just get a better job crap. What skill did boomers need to have to get these jobs back then? None. Zero. They were making the equivalent of 36 bucks an hour in today's money, doing minimum wage work. You telling me if Gen Z had access to $36 an hour jobs, they wouldn't work? Get the hell out of here. Now let's flip this around. What if Gen Z today had the same deal as boomers? What if minimum wage jobs paid enough to cover rent in a week instead of a whole damn month and a half? Think people would be lazy then? Of course not. And that's the real issue. People don't want to work for dog shit wages because it's simply not worth it. And why the hell should it be? Boomers like to act like they're all about capitalism, right? Supply and demand, baby. Alright, let's apply their own logic to them. If nobody wants to work for you, it's not because they are lazy, it's because you're too lazy to pay them good enough. You don't want to pay more? Then you don't get the workers. That's your problem, not mine. Gen Z isn't the failure here, society is.